Alright, so today we are making a video actually on the day I'm recording it. This should go up. So, some news. Resident Evil 5 related. Holy shit. So I had to make a video as soon as possible because, as you guys know, big fan of Resident Evil 5. And this could be nothing, it could be something, but I do want to kind of get it out there nonetheless. So pretty much what happened was earlier today, and this happened while I was out of the house, so I was kind of like, oh, okay. A rating went up for Resident Evil 5 on the kind of the ESRB ratings site for the Xbox Series consoles, right? So the current gen of consoles. And interestingly enough, there's already 3 other listings of RE5 in that category. There's the PS3 kind of launch version, the gold version, and then obviously the PS4 version, which is like the complete kind of all DLC game. And then there's this one. And it's interesting that it only says Xbox Series, not PlayStation. Not sure why that is, but it's interesting alone that it's actually there. And I have a couple of things I kind of want to talk about that could be in this. I'm not going to flat out say it's a remake confirmed, because there is some other maybe more realistic things that it could be. But we'll obviously talk about the remake first. So let's look at evidence kind of so far. So we've got this rating, whatever it is, appearing online recently, right? This is not the first time it's appeared on these websites, mind. So whether plans have changed, things have been kind of shifted around and scheduled differently, we don't really know what's going on in the background. It could be nothing, but let's just hypothetically look at a remake. So we've got the ratings. We've got Sheva's actress saying that something is being worked on that she can't talk about until March, and tagging that post with Resident Evil 30th anniversary, Resident Evil 5, all that kind of stuff. So she's definitely doing something, 100% to that post. Now obviously with current kind of leaks and rumours, we are kind of assuming right now that Code Veronica and Zero are the next remakes. Now I'm not going to ever say a leaker's word is fact, but at the end of the day, we don't know what's going on with development of games and stuff, not for a fact. You are going off of like one person's like voice online and saying this is what's happening because I've been told this is what's happening, but how in the loop are the leakers really? So you don't know what happens with development. No one knows until it's officially out there, right? So let's put the remake aside for a moment. Let's assume that it's not happening for now, and as much as I hate to say that, just assume it's not happening. There is 2 other options I've been kind of thinking about in my head that it could be. One of them fairly simple, one of them maybe a bit more kind of involved, but also not as like over the top as a remake. So let's talk about those. So first off, we have a current gen or next gen update, whatever you want to say. So Resident Evil 5 PS5 version. So, you know, faster load times, higher frame rate, stuff like that. And it'll probably still come with the DLC. So just a current gen, next gen, whichever way you look at it, port of 5. Would that be a bad thing? No. For me at least, it's another reason to play the game again. So I'll take it. And usually with Capcom, at least previously anyway, these updates have been free if you own the game already. And what they have done later down the line with these next gen updates is actually release the game physically on like the PS5 and the Xbox consoles. So you can buy a physical copy of Resident Evil 2 Remake on the PlayStation 5, which came later. Could that be a possibility? Maybe. Maybe not the full physical release of it at some point, but I think maybe an update would be pretty cool. I mean, I think the games run and look very good still, so it could be kind of pointless, but it's an option. It is an option. Now this next one has got a bit more kind of depth to it, but not to the scale of a remake. And this is something that's happened in Capcom's games, as well as other bigger games as well. And that is an engine port. So just hear me out for a moment. And specifically with the RE engine. So if you don't know, Dead Rising 1 got a deluxe remaster fairly recently, like within the past 2 years. I don't remember how old it is exactly, but it's a recent release. And that is the first Dead Rising game. Pretty much preserved exactly how it was, but it's moved to the RE engine. They've redone some of the voices. Obviously the visuals are completely different because it's in the RE engine. And it's got some quality of life adjustments as well. So it's got like autosaves and controls got changed slightly to feel more modernized, I guess. And all in all, it was the same game. It was just a different engine the game was running on. And I'm not sure how well received that was with like the big fans of Dead Rising. I got it, played it, and enjoyed it. but I'm not like a huge Dead Rising fan. I just kind of like playing them. So I'm not sure if it was a success, if people liked it. I don't know the thoughts on it. But that's not the only game in recent times that's done that. And the one that kind of really sticks out for me is Oblivion. Oblivion got a full remaster. The game was literally a 1-for-1, again, outside of slight voice acting adjustments and quality of life features. It was the same game in a different engine. It looks great. It plays exactly the same as it did before, and it sold crazy amounts. And it obviously did shadow drop. Do I think that's going to shadow drop? Probably not. Right? They're not going to shadow drop Resident Evil 5. Honest, I very much doubt that. But let's look at Resident Evil 5 as a whole, as a game for a moment. Is it the most praised game in the franchise? No. I'm a big fan, as most of you probably know by now. I could talk about this game all day. It's one of my favourite games, period. And I like the game. Do I think it needs a remake? No. Would I take a remake? Probably, yeah. I'd like to see how Resident Evil 5 would play if it played like the 4 remake, I'd like to see that. But it doesn't need one. 4 didn't need one, but we got it. But, that last idea with the whole, Dead Rising treatment, it might just be the best way to go about it, Just moving the games into the RE engine might be a shout for a lot of older games that people may not necessarily have access to or are particularly fond of, Maybe 5 and 6 get ported to the new engine and they're left exactly the same. Does that kind of affect remake timelines and stuff like that? Well, no, because it didn't get remade, so 5 would still be the canon for that game. 5 is still Resident Evil 5, it's still completely the same. The events in the game are the same, it's just you have a updated version of the game. And I think that's not outside the realm of possibility. I feel like, why do it with one game, Dead Rising, and why not try it with another one? And if they want to make Resident Evil 5 that game, and have it be the guinea pig for moving a old Resident Evil game into the RE engine, that's not like a full-blown remake, I'll take it. But that's pretty much just the thing to say about it all. So, to kind of summarise, new rating thing has appeared online for a current gen Resident Evil 5. We obviously got Sheva, her actress, is talking about something to do with Resident Evil 5 being announced in March, and that in itself is evidence that something to do with this game, or at least Sheva as a character, is happening in March. Now, do I think that anything is going to happen, in terms of reveals or shadow drops or anything like that, before Requiem? No, we are far too close to that game coming out for them to just start marketing or announcing a new Resident Evil game. March is kind of the area of interest, with it being the anniversary period of the franchise. So if anything's getting announced, then it's going to be in March. But that's going to do it. Leave your thoughts on the situation, I guess, down below. And remember to subscribe to the channel for more Resident Evil content. I do try and post every day, so there's always something going on. And yeah, thank you for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.